it's not too late. And I feel like if you're seeing this, it's because Spirit is reminding you that it is not too late, that you are right on time, and that this could not have happened any faster than what it's happening right now. This could not have happened any sooner than it is happening now. And it's interesting because I was supposed to have had this video recorded a couple of days ago. However, some things came up. I didn't like the quality of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to force it. And that's the beauty of this, because this is all about not forcing it. This is all about you showing up with divine purpose, with intention, but also allowing yourself to be led by Spirit and planning accordingly. The reason why we're getting into this video is because I wanted to ensure that I introduce to you the way that I do my astrology readings. Even though this is not going to be an in-depth reading, this is just me kind of introducing you to the way that I like to divine information coming directly from the charts. Also, this is something that I'm looking at for the second time. The first time was when I recorded the video. I didn't like the quality. Some things came up, and now we're going back to kind of divine some more messages and things like that. So thank you for coming here. Thank you for staying. If you do not know me, my name is Nuna. I am the seer, the witch, the writer, the poet, and the keeper of the Saiyonan archives. I am known for merging the arts of poetry and magic, and I also am here to help you transcend beyond your pain and your suffering. I'm the founder of the Saiyonan Etherium, which is essentially a space where I handcraft spiritual essentials to help you heal, transcend beyond your pain and your suffering, manifest and expand your consciousness. That is what I'm here for. That is what I'm here to do. My words help to hold you. They help you to see yourself. And then I also do other things, of course, to help you along your path of remembrance. I have the chart pulled up right now, and we're going to get directly into it. So as you know, we did have the new moon yesterday in Capricorn that happened. I think it was about 2:53 p.m. EST. At least that's when I pulled the chart. And of course, at that time, there was a beautiful, and I mean a beautiful Capricorn stellium that happened. And this is so special to me because in my chart, I actually do have a Capricorn stellium. And I love this because being someone who was deeply rooted in Capricorn energy and tropical, as far as my ego was concerned, right? Because I experienced life through an egoic lens through Capricorn. It has a very special place in my heart. So that's not the only reason why I'm doing this reading. I'm just kind of, again, letting you get to know how I like to pull information and channel and whatnot, looking directly at the chart without any notes, just me kind of going based off of what I feel, okay? I'm hoping that these messages serve you. I hope that you receive what you need and that you reserve what you don't for a gift for someone else, or as a gift for someone else, okay? Now, the first thing that I want to point out again is the fact that we did have that stellium in Capricorn. We had the moon, we had the sun, Mercury, and Mars all in the 8th house in the sign of Capricorn. Venus was doing her dance, of course, in the sign of Aquarius, and Pluto was also there revolutionizing things, and Venus was just kind of enjoying the moment, just kind of dancing while things were just kind of being disrupted and reevaluated and purged and things of that nature. Now, the beautiful thing about new moons, for one, that I want to say is that this is a moment in time where we're called to go inward. This is a moment in time where we're called to quiet ourselves and to listen to divine guidance, and of course plant seeds and things like that. At the same time, this is where we are allowing ourselves to be open to divine and to tap deeply into our wishes, our greatest wishes. It's so interesting because one of the cards that I just kept pulling, that I kept getting, was a wishing well from the Linderman deck. And I'm going to make sure that I show you a clip here of the cards that have been coming out recently. And it's so interesting because I feel like truly that this is exactly what this is about. And I've also been getting visions of gardens and planting seeds of plenty, which is so interesting because that's exactly what new moons are for. They are moments of reflection. They are moments of where we can receive clarity, especially when we allow ourselves to listen. This is a time for us to listen to divine and to also go deeper within the darker layers of ourselves to see what is there and to see what is calling out to us and why. I feel like the fact that we did have that Capricorn stellium, this had a lot to do with our own personal power, our own personal boundaries, and it also had to do with what we were willing to do in order to change our lives, but also surrendering to the process, surrendering to this divine flow. The fact that we have so many personal planets in the sign of Capricorn in the 8th house, this is deeply rooted commitments. This is deep devotion to the things that you know that you want to be loyal to, and this is you allowing yourself to immerse yourself into, not really really just the grit, but the grace that comes with you surrendering and being devoted. And I feel that when it comes to a sign like Capricorn, Capricorn is the bones, Capricorn is the structure, Capricorn is that energy that says, I am devoted to this thing and I will give everything that I possibly can if I know that this is what I'm meant to do. I have ambition, I have purpose, I have the drive. I am so fiery and I'm so not emotionally clinging to it, but I feel like I need truly to give my best at this because I feel like this is something that I truly want to see last for the long haul. And that's the type of energy that you're dealing with when you're dealing with Capricorn. Me, obviously being someone who studies Capricorn very closely, obviously as I should, right? I know that when it comes to us, we can be very stoic, or at least the energy of Capricorn could be very stoic. It could be very ambitious. It could be very cold and aloof. But the reason for that is because Capricorn says, you will not pass this gate if you are not worthy to pass this gate. And I feel that the fact that we do have this beautiful stellium in Capricorn, it says, I will let my guard down when I know that I am safe to think, that I am safe to feel, that I am safe to know, that I am safe to allow myself to dive deeper within my willpower. And it's one of those things where it's not short-lived. It's actually it's long-lived because Capricorn being an earth sign structure ruled by Saturn, this is longevity. These are the things that you want to put your time and your focus and your attention into, especially in terms of your feelings, your deeper philosophies, especially when it comes to your ideals and whatnot, especially in terms of the way that you think and what drives you and what motivates you on a deeper level. This is not energy that's superficial. It's not energy that it's fleeting. This is energy that wants to withstand the test of time, but it wants to be deeply devoted and committed to it because it understands that this is something that's going to transform it for the better. So how does this apply to your life? Well, what this means is that if you know that there's something that you want to do that brings you joy, that you see for yourself, this is your chance to say, it's not too late. I actually do have a chance to divine into this and to dive into this because I know that as long as I'm allowing myself to be led, that I will get exactly where I need to go. And sometimes what I'm hearing is that the journey is kind of cemented because it's just who you are and you know it, right? It's just, you know who you are. You know that you're headed in this direction, and it's not necessarily about the destination. It's more so about how you're choosing to get there. Are you being devoted to this? What kind of work are you doing and why? And it's also not about work, it's about purpose. Now, I want to draw my attention to the fact that we have Neptune and we have Saturn in Pisces, and also we have the North Node in the midheaven there in Pisces, and this is all in the 10th house. So this is where you allow your guides and spirit and this higher power, whatever you believe in, to guide your steps, to guide your footsteps. It's kind of like I'm getting a vision of like footsteps on the beach. It's kind of like I'm allowing myself to be led by these footsteps, and it's going directly into the ocean. Like these footsteps are going directly into the ocean. And so what this means is that you're allowing yourself to be led into these deeper layers, into these deeper waters, because there you will find the treasure. You have to be willing to go deep. And also, in order for you to ascend, you must descend. That's what I'm hearing. You have to descend in order to ascend. This new moon is pulling you into this reservoir of darkness so that you can learn how to surrender to this void, so that you can learn how to surrender and allow your intuition to guide you. Neptune says, I feel this, I dream of this. Saturn says, let's make it real. Pisces says, I have compassion. I'm connected to the collective. The 10th house says, let's make it work. Let's put in the work. The midheaven says, this is the highest point of the sky. This is what we want to be known for. The North Node says, this is where we're going. So this has a lot to do with us embodying the wisdom, embodying the deeper knowings, embodying the things that we actually really do know, the spiritual knowingness, right? This collective knowingness. This is where we embody this energy that is mature enough to understand the difference between self-sabotage, delusion, illusion, and all those things. But I also feel too that the fact that Saturn and Neptune are partnering up, this is the energy where it's like, I am going to take the dreams that I have, the visions that I have, allow myself to be led by that, but I'm also going to make it a reality. This is your reset button. I just heard this is your reset button. This is someone's reset button when at this time, instead of them allowing themselves to be led by the past, right? Because we do have the South Nodes in Virgo in the 4th house. It's like, I no longer want to limit myself to just the refinements and the nitpicking and things have to be this way. Things have to be perfect. Things have to be aligned. I have to analyze everything. You're probably in a space in your life right now where you feel that things are breaking down, and because you can't analyze it or control it in a certain way, it scares you. And I feel that that's the beauty of it, because now we're understanding that we have no control. What we only control is what we do, our actions, and how we choose to show up. And that's the question. How are you choosing to show up right now? How are you choosing to show up for your life? How are you choosing to show up for your community? And it's not even just about your community, it's about you. And this is where you take center stage and you say to the universe, I allow myself to be divinely led because I know that I'm going to a sacred space. I know that I'm safe. I know that I'm being led to a sacred space. And I also feel that at the time, the ascendant and the part of fortune was in Gemini. However, I feel that the part of fortune is closer to Cancer. So we're going to say that it's in Gemini, but also moving into Cancer. This is energy where you allow your creativity to be what guides you, to be what leads you, or to be what kind of brings you that luck, right? But it's not even about luck. It's more so about you actually choosing to utilize your creativity and merge it with your intuition, merge that with your intellect, and you create and you tell the story. This is where you start to tell the story. And then with the part of fortune going into Cancer, that's the hearth, that's the home. That's where you say, I would do a lot better if I'm honest, if I speak my feelings. I would do a lot better if I allowed myself to feel safe and allowed myself to be carried and safe along the way, along the journey. And knowing that no matter what, that's also what points to healing. That's also what helps me heal. The fact that Chiron is still in the sign of Aries in the 11th house, this is where we start to say that I feel and I know for a fact that this is more than just about me. This is bigger than me. This has to do with community. This has to do with the world. And the more that I allow myself to be devoted to my own mission, to my own path, it's going to bleed into the collective somehow anyway. So why not show up in the best way that I possibly can for myself, as well as my soul tribe, and be deeply devoted to that, because somehow what affects me is ultimately going to affect someone else, right? And it's one of these things where we are being reminded that we are not separate from collective consciousness. We are a part of that. We are a part of this thing. And although we don't have control over everything, we can become a part of something greater than us. And that's what Capricorn says. I know that this is greater than me. Neptune says exactly, because we're deep into the void. We're deep into the voided oceans. And this is where we have to say that I just allow myself to surrender because I don't have control. And that's what I feel Spirit is wanting you to know too. It's like you have to remember that even though you don't have control, you still have people there who are willing to support you, and you have to be open and willing to be supported. Because imagine if you try to do everything by yourself, what would you really get accomplished? And that's the beautiful thing. It's teamwork, right? You being cardinal, right? You being cardinal, or you expressing or exuding this cardinal energy, Capricorn energy. This means that you have to start delegating tasks and allowing the universe to just work its magic. When you start to do what you need to do, and you trust yourself, and you trust in that higher hunches, and you trust in your guides, and you trust in the divine, trust me, people will show up and help will show up along the way. I really want to focus my attention also on the fact that Uranus is in the sign of Taurus in the 12th house. This is uprooting security like crazy. Whatever attachment you may have had to security, this is showing you, okay, this is what I believe made me secure. This is what made me feel secure within myself, within others. But now I feel like it's being so disrupted and I don't even know what to do. Like how? Like, what do I do? The beautiful thing about this though is that the fact that Uranus is teaming up or trining, it looks like it's trine Saturn, and I want to say, yeah, is it trine Saturn and Neptune? Let me see. Let me double check. Yep. Uranus is trine Saturn and trine Neptune. So this is one of those things where it's like, even though things get real shaky, even though things may come as a shock, or it may shock me out of, it's like this awakening where it's like, okay, this is what it is. This is the truth of the matter. I don't have control, but I know that as long as I remain devoted, as long as I allow myself to receive divine wisdom, that no matter what happens, I'm always going to be okay. Jupiter is still obviously in the sign of Cancer at the time, and Jupiter will be there. He's retrograde, I believe he'll be there until I think June. I can't remember. I'll check the dates. I can't remember. But anyway, so Jupiter being in a sign of Cancer, this is one of those things where it's like you could be going through a deep remembrance right now, especially in terms of what makes you feel emotionally safe. This could be where you start to draw your attention more on ancestral remembrance. Remember, we are still in a space where we are receiving download after download after download. We are becoming a lot more emotionally aware and emotionally intelligent. And I feel that this is where you want to really work with your ancestors along your journey, because if not, it could make the process a lot harder. In fact, communing with your ancestors should be an everyday thing. At least, even if it's just, ancestors, I love you, I'm here, I commune with you, or I'm here to remember you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for guiding my steps. It takes a couple of minutes. And even if you feel that you don't want to speak about it out loud or speak to them out loud, they are in your thoughts. If you allow them, if you send them the telepathic message, they will receive it, because all is mental anyway. So that's one thing that I want you to remember, is that do not forget that your ancestors, first and foremost, are here to help you, your ancestors. Okay. We also do have the vertex point that's sitting in the sign of what is that? Scorpio. We have the vertex point sitting in Scorpio. This is basically where you start to feel, or you start to get these moments where you're like, it can't be this shallow. Like, I need something more. I need something deeper. What is the deeper meaning behind this? I want to go deeper. I need to go deeper. I require a lot more. This is also where you really want to pay attention to reproductive health. You want to make sure that you pay attention to, I just heard like bleeding. You want to make sure that you're staying away from jacuzzis. Just be careful with whatever you got going on down there. Get your stuff checked and make sure that you're good, and make sure, I just heard the word fertility. This is where you want to start really doing a lot of energetic work, dealing with your reproductive system. Things for that may be coming through. You may have been wanting to have a baby. Oh, okay. I'm here. This is going to be a trigger warning. Okay. Trigger warning. This has a lot to do with healing and finding ways to show up for yourself, to help you deal with any trauma dealing with childbirth, anything dealing with miscarriages or things of that nature. That's all I'm going to say. I'm pretty sure you can know, whatever will come through with that. Okay. This is a time where you call out to your ancestors saying, can you please help me with this? I need help. I can't do this alone. Please send people that can help me with this part of my journey, because it's deep. It goes very, very deep. So reproductive health and things dealing with, I don't know why I'm hearing something about pregnancies. That could just simply be a download for someone, because the sixth house, usually it's about day to day. It's about your health. Of course, it's also about your routines and coworkers and things like that. So you also could be really in a space where you're refining who you allow into your space and who you work with, because you don't want to work with superficial people. You want to work with people who are going to take you there, who can allow you to go deeper. You're no longer wanting these superficial connections. If anything, I'm seeing a lot more people decide that they want something real. They want something resonant. And that's exactly what I'm feeling for a lot of people right now. And I could easily go into the trines, the squares, and all of those things. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not actually, because I feel like I want to just kind of give you the gist of that. I'm not seeing anything that could impact you in a way where it's like life shattering. No, I don't see that. And if it was, I would talk about it. But if anything, I'm hearing that it's a matter of choice. Are you choosing this moment the way that this moment chooses you? And it's interesting because I did a reel recently where I did a reel, of course, but I also did a short where I was shuffling cards and whatnot, and we got the Wheel of Fortune. And I talked about, it's not just about you having good luck and things like that. Oh, things are working out for you. It's about you choosing the moment the way that the moment chooses you. And so I feel like Spirit is asking you, are you choosing this? Do you want this? Are you going to be devoted to this? Are you choosing devotion? Right? Do you allow yourself to be led through your devotion? Right? When you're in your devotion, and it's so beautiful because I talked to a soul sister of mine, and she was saying, she's such an amazing soul, right? She was saying how when you're in your masculine, you're disciplined, but when you're in your feminine, you're more devoted. This is you allowing yourself to be devoted to your path because you're allowing yourself to immerse deeper into divine feminine energy. Okay, that's another thing too. And it's so interesting because I feel like there's this beautiful dance between masculinity and femininity right now, especially because you have Capricorn that is a feminine sign actually. And then you have Mars who's there, which Mars, by the way, is exalted. Okay, Mars is exalted. He's passionate. He's deep, and he has a deeper reason as to why he's doing something, especially with him being in the 8th house. However, he's exalted in Capricorn, so this is where Mars is like, I am I'm disciplined because I am disciplined enough to allow myself to be led by this higher knowing. I'm ambitious. This is for the long haul. I'm planting seeds that are going to last for a lifetime. And this brings me to one more point here. When you are planting seeds in an actual garden, you don't only plant a few seeds, right? If you were more wise, you would plant several, because let's just say you plant one seed and then it fails on you. Well, if you plant several, you have several. So at this time, if you are still using this time to set intentions, you want to plant more seeds. What does this mean? Don't just write down, oh, I only want this one thing. No. What are several things that you're grateful for? What are several things that you see happening in your life? You're not being greedy. You're just connecting with the universe, letting it know that you're open to receiving everything that is for you. Because you could be setting your intention for a healthy relationship with your family, with a daughter, with the brother, right? And that brings me to another point. You're not even setting your intention for mundane things. You're not just setting your intention for things that are superficial or fleeting. What you're setting your intention for is going so much deeper. It's like, I'm deciding that I want to set my intention for a soul tribe, for a babysitter. That way I can communicate better with my spouse, because I know that this is something that I really want to be devoted to. And I love this person. I believe in love. And I know that through this divine partnership, I'm able to explore the deeper layers within myself. We are going deep. We are deeper. We are planting deep. And it's interesting because I see someone planting things deeper into the ground, or they're planting things now that require you to go deeper into the earth. I don't know why I'm seeing that. But also, you may have a strong resonance also with oak trees right now, which of course it makes sense because it is generational. With Capricorn being generational, of course it does make sense. Another thing that came through when I did the last reading, it was something about DNA and how what's activating is junk DNA. It's not junk. What you're realizing is that the more that you devote yourself to this path, the more that something within you awakens. Your ancestral gifts do awaken. So I see more of your ancestral gifts awakening at this time. And I also see that you're going to be implementing a lot more of those ancestral gifts throughout this time. So there's several messages that have come through, obviously. I hope that I did not lose you. I hope that you're still here. Thank you for not clicking out. Thank you for listening this far, okay? But anyways, if there was anything that I would take from this, I would take the fact that it's definitely not too late. I feel that this is a moment in time where, again, you allow yourself to be led by your guides, led by these higher forces, led by your spiritual team, and you listening and tuning in to the messages that they're going to give you, that they've been giving you, especially during the time of the new moon, because this is where things go quiet. So I want you to trust in your visions. I want you to trust in your dreams. I also want you to set your intention for things that are deeper. Set your intention for things that you are going to be devoted to for the long haul, not just short, not just fleeting. I want you to go deep with this. I want you to go deep within yourself. If I were going to set my intention for anything, again, it would just be for a closer relationship with my guides. It will be for whatever aspect of your life that you want to change, because in fact, all aspects of your life are changing. It's not just one. What you do with one portion of your life is going to affect the other portion of your life. And I want you to remember that you still have time. Okay? It is not too late. It is not too late. And I want you to remember that. Okay? Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you need anything from me, feel free to visit me online over at thesayonanpath.org. If you need to follow me for any reason, of course, which I would love for you to, or join the Saiyonan Circle, you may do so by following at Nuna Seeds on Instagram and TikTok. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel because I'm going to be giving a lot more transmissions, a lot more teachings, and a lot more writings. As you know, I am a writer, so you can find me on Substack over there. That is where you're going to find teachings teachings, writings, reflections, poems, and things of that nature. And I'm also going to start giving you guys more poetry and things like that. So be on the lookout for that. I'm currently planning it. If you want to see one of my latest poetry readings, go ahead and check that out over on Instagram and also on Substack as well as TikTok. And that's it. I don't think I have anything else. The Etherium is also open. I'm also open for readings. And yes, make sure that you click any link that is available down in the description box. Make sure that you go to the comment section, leave me some love. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening and tuning in. And I'll catch you in my next video.